This is the story of a scientist who killed millions of people, but he might also be the reason that you are alive today. Well, in 1918, he solved one of the biggest problems of human history, a problem which could have led to human extinction. Yeah, and for that, he was awarded a Nobel Prize. You might be wondering, wow, that's a great accomplishment. In a way, it is, but none of his family members or friends came to his after party. Not just this, two other Nobel Prize winners gave away their awards to protest against him. What exactly did this guy do to get so much hate? Despite saving billions of lives, he is still hated so much. Well, in this video, I am going to tell you a story about the most unluckiest but a powerful scientist whose accomplishment changed this world in a bad but also in a good way. But before we delve into our today's video, if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to do so, because since the day I have started showing my face, my views, my subscribers, everything started dropping. Maybe you all are a bunch of racist people, or if you think that I am a little better than AI, then please subscribe, or I am gonna give you the AI. Our human body has four main elements: oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And nitrogen is one of the most important elements in our body, and we get these from eating plants or animals who eat the plants. Well, the thing about nitrogen is that if we keep growing or harvesting in the same land, the level of nitrogen gradually drops. And if we continually do that from years to years, then a time comes that the level of nitrogen is so low that no crop or any plant can grow there any longer. So this is what happened to us in the 19th century, when the population was growing so quickly that the level of nitrogen in our soil was about to go extinct. And on this particular matter, famous chemist William Crookes predicted in 1898 that if we don't find a solution to the depletion of nitrogen in our soil, in the next 30 years, half of the population might die because of hunger. And according to Crookes, only a chemist was able to solve this problem. Well, you see, our atmosphere has around 78% of nitrogen, but that is in a form that cannot be consumed by animals or plants. And creating nitrogen artificially is no easy task. To do that, you have to split apart the two nitrogen atoms to create ammonia. And ammonia is a fertilizer molecule which can be used in mass production in agriculture. And this was a serious issue. So a lot of scientists started working on this from years to years. But despite so much efforts, nothing was happening. But then he came. In 1904, a German scientist who was 36-year-old at that time, working as a lecturer in a university in Germany, took interest in this matter. He was Fritz Haber. Well, when Haber took interest in this matter, he started working days and nights continuously for 5 years, until he came up with an idea that what if he put nitrogen and hydrogen together and apply pressure on massive heat? That might just do the task. And after this, he started experimenting, applying the same formula in his lab. And after 5 years, on March 1909, he turned the pressure to 500 degrees Celsius. And then something happened that the scientists were waiting for it to do for tens of years. The nitrogen atom broke down and combined with the hydrogen to create a compound called ammonia. This was something that everyone was waiting for, and now Haber was known as a hero in Germany and throughout the world. Germany's biggest company, BASF, bought the rights from Haber of mass production of ammonia, and the next few years, BASF was producing 4 to 5 tons of ammonia every single day. And with the use of ammonia, farmers were growing 4 to 5 times more crops on the same land. And because of this, the population of the world started growing day by day. It's a huge chance that 50% of nitrogen in your body is because of Haber's discovery. And if you are living happy and sound, you should be thankful to Fritz Haber. And after this, Haber gained huge popularity, and now he was hanging out with one of the greatest scientists of his time, like Max Planck to Albert Einstein. And as you know, that every happy story has its dark turn. And what do you think happened that turned this man from one of the favorites to one of the most hated person in history? Well, the reason is simple: World War I. World War I, or the First Great War, was a global conflict fought between two collisions, the Allies and the Central Powers. The battles were fought throughout Europe, the Pacific, Africa, Middle East, and some parts of Asia. The allies consisted of France, UK, USA, Germany, Japan, and Italy, who fought against the Central Powers of Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, or Bulgaria. As the World War I started, Haber wanted to do something for his country and help out as much as he can. After a few months of the World War I, Germany almost finished its explosive and gunpowder, and it seemed like that the Germans are going to lose the war any time of the day. But on the other hand, Haber knew something horrible about ammonia. Ammonium nitrate is a great fertilizer, but also a very dangerous explosive. The example of this is the explosion in Beirut in August 2022, an explosion which shook the entire city. This explosion actually took place in a warehouse where 300,000 tons of ammonia somehow caught fire. And this explosion was so powerful that even people hundreds of kilometers away were able to hear this. And in this, about 200 people died and almost 6,000 people were injured. Now Haber started working on making this explosive in the same company they used to make ammonia. So he can make more TNTs and more explosives. In few days, Haber's explosives were blowing up enemies, but he did not just stop there. He wanted to do something more. So he started experimenting on different chemicals to make a deadly gas. So he can end this war as soon as possible. In his mind, the more longer the war continues, the more people die. So let's wrap it up. In 1914, he was successful to make a deadliest gas by which his enemies were going to die a horrifying death, and this was chlorine gas. Well, on April the 6th, around 5 p.m. in the evening, the German soldiers released 5,000 cylinders of gas, pointing it towards the Allied forces. Within few seconds, this gas spread throughout the Allied forces and they started dying continuously. This was so terrifying that even the German soldiers were scared of seeing them struggle in pain. Around 5,000 soldiers died that day because of this gas. And now, in honor, Haber was promoted at the rank of the captain. To celebrate this, Haber organized a party at his home, and after the party, when he was sleeping with his wife in his room, he heard a gunfire outside. Haber ran outside only to see that his wife has committed suicide. She committed a suicide in a regret that her husband was a murderer of thousands of people. But for Haber, this did not make much of any difference. For him, he always put his country before anyone else. He took the train the very next day and came back to the chemical factory to continue his work. Now he fastened the process of making chemical weapons. By 1917, he hired around 1,500 people and over 100 scientists who helped him make these weapons. The German army used these weapons as much as they could against their armies, and over 100,000 people died in very few days because of this gas. But even after so much struggles and so much work, Germany still lost the World War I. Haber was frustrated of this loss. After a few years, he went to Switzerland and where he died in a hotel at the age of 65. After a few days of his death, the German government took over his factory where the Haber's team made an insecticide spray known as Zyklon B. And later on, using that Zyklon B, the Nazi government made something horrific which was the reason behind the horrible deaths of Jews. Technology has its advantages but also disadvantages. On one hand, it saved billions of lives and helped out us human as much as it could and made our lives easier. But on the other hand, it is also responsible for thousands of and millions of deaths. Now, if Haber did a good job or not, that's a matter of perspective. If you were his opposition, for you, he's an evil guy. But for his country, for his nation, for his allies, he's a great guy who saved a lot of people from dying, not just in war, but still today. He may be a psychopath, and if we see it today, it is a horrible thing. But whatever he did was for his country and nation. And deep down, every single man wants to do something for his nation. And now this video has come to an end, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you are supporting the AI instead of humans, then I don't know about that, but also like this video and comment your favorite thing about it, and also comment anything you want me to improve or anything you think that can be done better, and also comment the topics that you want me to cover. See you in the next video.